It's midnight and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Nurin Razmyn. The top stories. Malaysia's application to become a BRICS partner receives strong and solid support members. And Japan election. Opposition overtakes ruling bloc in count of confirmed seats. Good morning. Malaysia's application to become a BRICS partner has received strong and solid support from all BRIC members, including Russia, China and India, during a meeting of the 8 founding members of the bloc. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said it was a respect for Malaysia, who has gained more recognition on the international platform.
Anwar said this was shared by Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali during their meeting at the Seri Perdana complex in Putrajaya on Saturday. Abiy had said that in the meeting of the 8 founding members, chaired by Russian President Vladimir Putin, which was also attended by Chinese President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the first country proposed was Malaysia.
Negara yang pertama diusulkan Malaysia. Putin cadang sokongan kuat dan padu oleh negara China dan India dan Brazil dan Ethiopia dan Afrika Selatan. Terus tak ada soal orang terima Malaysia ini sebagai anggota BRICS yang baru. Ada negara-negara lain yang ditangguh.
The Prime Minister said this in his speech at a gathering with the Padang Rengas community at Dataran Arena Square, Pekan Isnin, Padang Rengas on Sunday. He also shared that Abiy mentioned Malaysia's image is very good because out of more than 30 countries that applied to join BRICS, Malaysia is among those that successfully joined the bloc. Anwar, who is also the finance minister, said that Malaysia is now regarded as a major semiconductor hub and has successfully attracted various investments from global giant companies due to the country's political stability and clear policies.
Meanwhile, Anwar said a total of 15,000 heads of households have been lifted out of extreme poverty throughout this year. This figure is part of the 80,000 heads of households identified on the extreme poverty list for 2024.
Tahun 2024, mari lagi 80,000 senarai baru. Ada yang sambung, ada yang baru. Setakat ini 15,000 dah selesai, kita cuba nak selesai sebelum akhir tahun ini. Ini yang kita buat, saudara.
He also stressed that the government is committed to assisting the people through targeted aid, despite frequent criticism from some quarters. In another event, Anwar said the 16th general election, GE16, might be still some time away, but there is an urgent need for PKR to foster collaboration between the younger generation and experienced leaders. And to achieve this objective, the PKR president wants his party to hold this election without further delay.
Kita harus melihat kemungkinan menyegerakan pemilihan parti, tetapi tidak dengan cara yang dahulu, yang hiruk pikuk kacau bilau. Kena ikut peraturan yang lebih teliti. Dan ini sedang kita kaji, cuma keputusan kita harus disegerakan pemilihan. Saya tidak setuju untuk menangguhkan kerana pilihan raya masih lambat lagi.
He said this at the opening of the Perak PKR convention in Ipoh on Sunday. The party's Supremo pointed out that the collaboration between the younger generation and experienced leaders would give them more time to effectively manage the party together. He explained there is a need to nurture a new generation of leaders among youth and women, including at the branch level. Prior to this, PKR Secretary General Fuzia Saleh said the Central Leadership Council meeting has discussed the possibility of delaying party elections until after GE16. Only Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) leavers will be involved in the National Service NS training program scheduled to start in January 2025. Deputy Defence Minister Adli Zahari said there is a misunderstanding among the public regarding the age limit set for NS participation, thus causing anxiety among them. He said this after attending the Kedah Perlis and Penang State Level Armed Forces Veteran Entrepreneurs Empowerment Program in Sungai Petai, Kedah. Those who cannot attend due to various constraints can still do so until the age of 35 in accordance with the NS Act. From next January, a total of 1,000 participants will be involved in the NS and they will be placed into 2 training camps. The latest version of the NS has undergone an improvement based on the previous NS. People's representatives play an important role to cooperate with non-governmental organizations, NGOs, in delivering aid to groups in need. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said that it is easier for NGOs to get donations from entities wanting to donate without politicizing it.
Kerana penting peranan wakil rakyat ni untuk kita bergerak bersama-sama dengan NGO. Kerana NGO ni kadang-kadang dia lebih mudah mendapat bantuan ataupun sumbangan daripada entiti-entiti yang ingin menyumbang tetapi dia tidak mahu berdasarkan politik. Jadi kita ni sebagai perantara saja untuk dia cari. Kalau katakan dia nak orang-orang yang terdiri daripada asnaf dan orang susah, jadi kita tahu kat mana mereka.
He was speaking to the media after officiating the Jela Peduli Ummah Bantu Ummah Sejahtera Insan Al-Falah at Desa Pandan Flats in the federal capital on Sunday. Johari, who is also a Titiwangsa Member of Parliament, said that the people's representatives have a list of residents that have been screened and receiving aid. Earlier, he delivered aid provided by the mobile kitchen of the Malaysian Consultative Council of Islamic Organisation MAPIM to the residents. The help box has been distributed to 210 families in need in the area.
The Agriculture and Food Security Ministry will inspect imported Shine Muscat grapes alleged to contain harmful chemical residue as claimed by Thailand. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Muhammad Sabu, said that if the claims were confirmed, the ministry would make an announcement and take appropriate action.
Kita akan pergi kepada pihak yang membuat kajian, terutama dan Mardi dan Makmal kita untuk kajian dan pengesahan.
The minister added, however, that so far no complaints have been received regarding the matter. He said as it concerns the issue of health, the ministry will be thorough in the matter and will conduct continuous monitoring. The Thailand Pesticide Alert Network had previously issued a warning about contamination in Shine Muscat grapes, stating that the many samples contained harmful chemical residue exceeding permitted levels. The network and the Thailand Consumer Council urged the Thai Public Health Ministry to take immediate action, including requiring importers and distributors to label the country of origin for imported Shine Muscat grapes.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is prepared to provide advisory and training support to ensure the establishment of integrity units in each of the 156 local authorities nationwide. Its Chief Commissioner, Tan Sri Azam Baki, said currently only 49 local authorities have their own integrity unit.
Azam, in a statement, stressed that the establishment of integrity units is necessary for enhancing governance and public trust in local governments, and offered the Commission support and training to help the local authorities that have yet to establish them. He added that the MACC's Agency Integrity Management Division will help the local authorities in implementing the necessary functions for these units. The anti-graft busters also welcomed the initiative by the Housing and Local Government Ministry to incorporate anti-corruption elements into the local authorities' star rating assessment system starting this year. He stressed that the MACC is confident that this initiative will enhance transparency in the overall performance of local authorities.
Police will call on the organizers of the Raise the Jalo Gemilang event at Menara Condong in Teluk Intan on Saturday, as the gathering did not have a valid permit. Perak Police Chief Dato' Azizi Mat Aris said the organizers did not notify the police before organizing the event.
Azizi said those involved will be called in to have their statements recorded to complete the investigation paper. Preliminary investigations also found that Perak Past Commissioner Razmyn was present and delivered a speech at the assembly. Azizi issued a reminder that any party wishing to organize an assembly must submit a notification to the police at least 10 days before the event date. The public is also advised not to participate in gatherings that could cause disturbance or threaten public safety. Meanwhile, Hilir Perak District Police Chief ACP Ahmad Adnan Basri informed TV3 that a police report was received regarding the content of Razmyn's speech at the gathering.
A 5-year-old preschool student was found dead following a house fire at Jalan Apas in Tao, Sabah on Saturday night. During the incident around midnight, all 13 members were in the home, with many of them already asleep.
According to the grandfather of the victim, identified as Putra Iris Azmil, 70-year-old Tahir Nabil, the family were alerted to the fire by a neighbor. Tahir, along with his children and son-in-law, quickly woke everyone up and moved the grandchildren to a vehicle parked nearby for safety. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that the victim was still in the upstairs room. He tried to brave the flames to save his grandson, but the fire spread too quickly, destroying the wooden house in under 10 minutes. About 40 houses were destroyed in the incident. This is the second house fire in the area since the first incident in August 2013, which destroyed more than 30 houses.
In Malaysia, the adaptive reuse of heritage buildings is emerging as a pivotal trend, reflecting a deeper understanding of the importance of cultural preservation. This approach not only breathes new life into historic structures, but also intertwines them with contemporary culture, fostering a sense of community and identity. Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar has the report.
Kuala Lumpur is synonymous with being the home of many iconic buildings, such as the Petronas Twin Towers, which itself is a popular tourist attraction. The city also harbors a number of historical heritage buildings that attract both local and foreign tourists. These structures serve as key attractions, showcasing the rich cultural tapestry and architectural diversity of the region. By preserving these sites, the city not only enhances its appeal, but also fosters a greater appreciation for its history among visitors and residents alike. Malaysian Institute of Architects, PAM President, Professor Adrianta Aziz, believes that the adaptive reuse of such buildings connects heritage to contemporary culture, aligning with changing times while preserving their historical significance.
Where adaptive reuse of heritage buildings is gaining momentum in Malaysia as awareness grows about the value of cultural preservation. The trend reflects a shift towards recognizing these buildings not just as relics but as assets that contribute to our collective identity. Several projects have set inspiring examples, notably the transformation of Rex KL, a former cinema turned cultural hub, demonstrate how adaptive reuse can foster vibrant community spaces.
He also noted that architects must strike a balance when working on these buildings to ensure their architectural or social significance without compromising their historical value.
Achieving this balance requires sensitivity and creativity. Architects must start with a deep understanding of the building's original design, materials, and historical context. One effective strategy is to adopt a minimal intervention approach where essential elements are restored or preserved and contemporary additions are designed to complement rather than overshadow the heritage character.
Meanwhile, Professor Jimmy Lim, an advisor for Badan Warisan Malaysia, BWM, believes that heritage extends more than just physical buildings, and any development should not damage these irreplaceable sites.
In the early days when Pasar Seni first started, a lot of restaurants would have people sitting on the piazza between the central market and the river. At night, it's quite nice, but now nobody sits there because the train is going up and down. Now, issues like this we need to address. Because we cannot stop development. But in this development, how do we still maintain the quality of the place? This is what it is all about.
Adaptive reuse gives heritage buildings a new lease on life by blending history with modern needs. It also creates spaces which allows us to preserve our cultural identity while also driving economic and social growth. These projects remind us that while progress is important, our heritage is a foundation which we can build upon. I'm Muhammad Nadir Asfar for Nightline TV3.
Nurin claims second title of the year. Actions from the 2024 Malaysian LGPA when we return.
Sebuah program istimewa membantu penonton menyelesaikan pelbagai masalah yang dihadapi setiap minggu dengan bijak. Wow, janji berbaloi! Menampilkan pelbagai produk berkualiti keperluan terkini, pakej combo dan tawaran harga paling berbaloi dan eksklusif buat penonton. Jangan ketinggalan, saksikan siaran langsung di TV9. Wow, janji berbaloi!
Wow! Tompin merupakan lubuk kepada ikan layaran ni.
Ada je angler yang datang. Cari safely.
License besar lah untuk angler.
Okey, triple strike! Tangkap ikan ni dia jadi macam satu trofi lah. Kebanggaan lah.
Best seller kita adalah ladu, candy, barfi dengan jelebi lah. So, untuk Deepawali ni, kita special lah jual 100% homemade. Resepi mak saya ramai minat lah.
Tak tahu nak tengok drama Korea dekat mana? Buka tontonlah korang. Ada pelbagai drama dan filem Korea yang best untuk anda. Muat turun aplikasi tonton sekarang. Semua favorit anda ada di sini.
Apa kau cakap lepas aku puji kau boleh nyanyi?
Aku nak pergi uji bakat dekat TV3.
Yes, betul. TV3 sekarang tengah buat uji bakat untuk program reality nyanyian yang baru. Muat naik video nyanyian korang yang very demure, very mindful selama 1 minit di TikTok sebelum 17 November. Tag akaun @TV3 Malaysia dan hashtag Bakat Baru TV3. Apa lagi? Let's go!
We're back with sports golf, the 2024 Malaysian LPGA. Yin Runing shot a 7-under 65 on Sunday to claim the trophy by 1 stroke for her second title this month.
The Chinese star finished at 23-under 265 after a safe 2-putt on the final hole as she held off Thailand's Gino Titiko, who was also runner-up at last year's event after losing the second longest playoff in LPA Tour history. South Korea's Hae-ran Ryu shot a 67 to finish 2 shots back in third, while American Bailey Tardy, who shot the round's equal, Maya Stark of Sweden were tied for fourth at 16-under 272. Meanwhile, Mirabelle Ting proved why she is the next big thing in Malaysian golf by finishing an impressive tied 12th today in her maiden LPGA Tour appearance, emerging as the highest-placed Malaysian of the week. Mirabelle produced a mixed bag of 3 birdies and 2 bogeys over 17 holes. She reached the par 5 18th in 2 shots, and although near-eagle attempt slid past, she confidently sank the birdie putt to finish the tournament in style.
Turning to football, the Super League, Selangor's glorious home run was tarnished after Johor Darul Takzim outplayed them 3-0 on Sunday night. JDT opened the scoring in the 30th minute as Romel Morales headed in a free kick from Juan Muniz. The visitors doubled their lead through Bergeson da Silva's effort in the 44th minute before the Brazilian forward converted a penalty 9 minutes after the interval after Muhammad Arif Aiman was brought down inside the area. With the win, JDT maintains their position at the top of the standings, 8 points ahead of Selangor. Still on football, the German Bundesliga. RB Leipzig came from behind to beat Freiburg 3-1 and claim the top spot.
The match burst into life in the 15th minute when Down found himself at the far post to nod home a cross from Vincenzo Grifo. Just 2 minutes into the second half, Orban found himself at the end of Benjamin Henrich's cross, bringing Leipzig level. Their persistence paid off in the 58th minute when Gertruda netted his first goal for the club, capitalizing on a swift counter-attack to give Leipzig the lead. Leipzig put the match to bed in the 79th minute as Openda showcased his blistering pace and clinical finishing, slotting past Atubulo to secure a 3-1 win. The victory puts Leipzig on top of the league, just 3 points ahead of Bayern Munich.
Coming up after the break, Japan's main opposition strengthens grip in lower house.
Zon penangkapan hasil laut dipantau.
Buat pangkul orang lah. Kenapa ini mentang-mentang lah?
Khazanah marin dilindungi dan dipelihara.
Mata pukat keroncong adalah bawah 16 mm. Jadi ini terlalu kecil. Dia akan memerangkap anak-anak ikan.
Saksikan laporan khas pelindung Khazanah Marin Negara dalam 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Tak payah. Keluarlah.
Kau sabar boleh tak?
Wanita berusia 23 tahun turut ditemui separuh bogel dengan kedua-dua tangan dan kakinya terikat.
Saya dah tengok dengan keadaan dia dah terikat semua tu, macam dah tak ada lah.
Beliau telah menyumbat kain dalam mulut bangsa untuk mendiamkan beliau.
Tompin merupakan lubuk kepada ikan layaran ni.
Ada je angler dia datang. Cari safe please.
License besar lah untuk angler.
Okey, triple strike. Tangkap ikan ni dia jadi macam satu trofi lah. Kebanggaan lah.
Best seller kita adalah ladu, candy, barfi dengan jelebi lah. Untuk Deepawali ni kita special lah jual 100% homemade. Resipi mak saya ramai minat lah.
Alah, dah habis tak sempat nak tengok.
Drama TV3 Mak? Tengok je lah, tonton.
Telefon nak buat?
Telefon Mak. Mula-mula Mak buka tonton, lepas tu tekan sign up here untuk buat akaun baru. Isi nombor telefon, email dengan password. Masukkan nombor TAC dan siap.
Lah, senang je. Jadi tengok dasar?
Boleh lah. Jadi dah drama Mak tu.
Onto the foreign front. Japan's ruling coalition is set to lose its parliamentary majority. Exit polls for Sunday's general election suggested, raising uncertainty over the makeup of the government of the world's fourth largest economy. A poll by Nippon TV showed Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, which has ruled Japan for almost all of its post-war history, and junior coalition partner Komeito would get 198 of the 465 seats in the lower house of Japan's parliament. The poll showed that as of 12:35 a.m. local time, the opposition has overtaken the ruling bloc in the count of confirmed seats. The opposition was on 170 versus the coalition's 164. The threshold for a majority is 233. Nikkei also estimated voter turnout to be around 53.11%, roughly 2.82 percentage points lower than that of the previous election. In 2021, the turnout rate was 55.93%, the third lowest in the post-war period. Though the outcome may force parties into fractious power-sharing deals to rule, potentially ushering a political instability as the country faces economic headwinds and increasingly tense security environment in East Asia. Some updates on the 2024 U.S. election. In her first appearance on the campaign trail alongside Vice President Kamala Harris, former First Lady Michelle Obama urged Americans to cast their votes to protect the country from the dangers of Donald Trump.
In a fiery speech in Michigan, a key battleground state on Saturday, Michelle said the election was too close for her liking. Michelle made repeated jabs at Trump, pointing to what she termed his erratic behavior and obvious mental decline.
So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon.
The bulk of her speech, however, focused on a genuine fear of how a Trump administration could impact abortion rights, telling an enthusiastic crowd of voters that she believes a failure to elect Kamala Harris could have deadly consequences. Meanwhile, at another event in Michigan, Donald Trump vowed to breathe fresh life into the state's automotive industry and met with Arab Americans. Trump said he believes that the Arab American voters can turn the election one way or another. As of now, polls show Harris and Trump locked in a tight race in Michigan, with the Democrat holding an extremely narrow lead 9 days before the November 5th election.
Storm Trami hit central Vietnam on Sunday, threatening to trigger heavy rains and dangerous floods after leaving a path of destruction in the Philippines. According to the National Weather Forecast Agency, rainfall in several parts of provinces from Quang Binh to Quan Nam is forecast to reach 60 centimeters, both on Sunday and Monday. Heavy rains are also expected to hit the Central Highlands, which is the country's key coffee growing area. Officials said the storm has forced 4 airports in central Vietnam to temporarily close. Meanwhile, rescuers in the Philippines were diving into a lake and scouring isolated villages to locate dozens of missing people as the death toll from the storm hit 100. The National Disaster Agency said more than 500,000 people were forced to flee their homes, while at least 36 people remain missing. In his first public comments since Israel's airstrikes on military targets, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Sunday said Tehran officials should determine how best to respond.
Khamenei said Iran's power should be demonstrated to Israel, adding that the way to do so should be determined by the officials, which is in the best interest of the people and the country. He added that Israel has made an error of calculation and the strike should neither be downplayed nor exaggerated.
مطلب دوم مربوط به این حرکت شرورانه‌ای است که دو شب پیش اینجا انجام دادن. خب یه غلطی کرد. خودشون هم البته بزرگنمایی میکنن. بزرگنمایی اونا غلطه. اما توجه داشته باشید. باید تشخیص بدن و درست بفهمن و اون چی که صلاح این کشور و این ملت هست اون رو انجام بدن.
In a statement, the leader also stressed how Israel should understand the strength, will and initiative of the Iranian nation. Meanwhile, Israel's security cabinet will meet on Sunday to discuss the strikes and the possibility of an Iranian response. The UN Security Council is then expected to convene on Monday at Iran's request to discuss the attack. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look at the 4th edition of the Forever Is Now exhibition in Egypt. With the background of the Giza pyramids, 12 artists displayed their art installations in their surrounding plateau, transforming the historic site into a stage of contemporary creativity. With that, I'm Nurin Razmyn. Thank you for tuning in and have a great week ahead.